Good Abend, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to TOBI Tweaks. Today's topic, again, the ADT 5MTC console. And this time the question, why am I selling it? And what am I doing with it right now? Well, on my channel here you saw me restoring this console from a pile of trash to a beautiful, complete working system with automation and also converters that I use to put whole mixes onto this board. Now, initially I bought this, I wouldn't say for fun, but solely for the sake of restoring this beautiful piece of gear for initially quite a good price. Well, if you consider the state it was in, I think it was fair. Well, I dreamed about putting this into my studio and maybe working with it in my day-to-day work. But now that it is finished and I calculated the dimensions of this thing, I mean, it was hard enough to bring it here into this room with the elevator. I figured that maybe I could see myself using it, and I even figured a system of doing records in 15 minutes, which is very, very good and fast for a complete analog console like this, and I will show it to you in a later video. But the main reason why I'm not installing this in my studio is that it's simply too long to fit, as our entrance down to the studio does kind of like half circle, and there's no way that I can get this whole frame that I can not shorten. This is one thing. And sadly, there's no way of bringing this down the stairs in my studio. So, well, why did I restore it? Just for the fun and the beauty of it. Also for using it, for learning how to mix on an analog console. And I like to say that analog equipment in general is at least the perfect learning tool. If that's really sounding better or whatnot, you figure yourself. I think it sounds pretty amazing. But yeah, what am I doing with it now? I'm mixing on it. Of course, you can see I built a tiny studio. How I mix on it, that's for later. But for now, I'd like to announce that yes, this console is for sale. Some of you might have seen it already on German Kleinanzeigen. It will come to Reverb as well. I have somebody interested in it already, but the console would have to go quite a long way. So if you're in the Berlin or German area and would like to have this in your studio, let's talk. Until then, I will further upgrade the system to make it perfect. In this video, you see me do some work on the frame, the cabling, putting it on wheels and whatnot. And I will continue to do so. There's some plans I still have. Changing some of the knobs, maybe some beauty upgrades. I don't know if you see it. I also marked some spots that I want to fix that are not in this video. And as I'm now using it, I can make sure that it really works and functions well. Here now with the mixing setup, I will be mixing a record of mine, a house record. Until then, enjoy the video and let's see what we can do with this. So what I didn't do in the first round, because I had the wrong parts, I'm finally doing now, which is recapping everything of the power supply for the audio path, hoping to reduce some noise. Now what you might remember from the restoration series, there were these trim pots in the equalizers that had contact problems, and I finally decided to switch all of them. Now what doesn't feel too good is that actually I am having the same trim pots from the same manufacturer, and why it doesn't feel too good is because I'm of course afraid that these will develop the same problems over time. But let's see, I have 100 pieces here, which I probably need. I counted about 80 or something in this desk. So a lot of work, 2 per channel, here 3 per channel. So this will be fun, but I have a desoldering station now, so it should go nice and quick. Also, what we are going to do is put this thing on wheels. Finally, I have bought these ones, which are used to move things like washing machines. People ask me about it. Yes, this is my dryer, because this is the room where I live. Also, there's a printer here. You know how it works. So I will put it on these. I have these things to help. Now, of course, the console is heavy, but I will unload some of the modules to be able to lift it up and then put wheels under it, so I can move the console around in the room. It should be nice. Also, because the last thing that I want to do is make it look even better. Now, if you look under the console, here's all my cabling. It works, which is cool, but it doesn't look nice. So what they would do in normal studio installations, the way this console was designed, that behind the back you would have a strip, just like a Metallstange, where you would attach all these cables to, and then have one point where all the cabling comes down. And this is what I would love to do now as well. As you can see, the Metallstange is still here. It's not attached. So I will attach this. I will have the console come out and then do all the work. Now, the last thing you will notice, this box right here is something I got as part of a big purchase I did in Austria, where I bought a lot of broadcasting gear, most of it from Siemens Austria or VSW. And these are 1-to-1 input transformers. So I made a box, 40 ins, 40 outs. And I would love to test this on this board, because all of these inputs are electronically balanced. And I will basically fit this board with input transformer. So after that, we would have transformers on the input, transformer on the 2-track out, on the main out. And I will do some testing with it. And it should be a cool series, or like a cool little video where you'll be able to compare a desk with input transformers or without input transformers. These are very high quality Haufe and Pikatron, the best of the best. So yeah, should be cool. All right. So here we have the first few channels out. Sadly, they don't stand very well, also because this ground is kind of slippery. So I had to lie them down. Would have looked nicer to have the little console reassembled here. Here they are, the little trim pots. And we are going to change each and every one of those. Yeah, there's more of it. Now, the console has these all over. For example, here in the output sections, there's the same. And I will start to check them. But these kind of problems I only had so far with the equalizers and consistently in the equalizers. So we'll start there. Let's continue. And here we are with the empty console and channels all over the room. A nostalgic sight for me, as this is how I spent a lot of time with this console. The empty frame, the green bus boards and channels on the floor. Just like this. Now, next step. We put this on wheels and have it come out a bit. Now, as you can see, this was not the biggest success. And I'm trying to show you the failures with working on such big problems as well. Now, everything went good. Nobody was harmed. But let me show you what happened. So I got this system, which you normally use, as I said, for washing machines. And I noticed that I calculated wrong, because initially I thought each of these was able to hold 150 kilograms, but it is 4 of them. And I wanted to put 4 under this console, but this console is way over 300 kilos when fully loaded. So this wouldn't work anyways. I tried and then figured that these steel frames are actually kind of empty. So you would just have that part that touches the floor. So I will have to get big Rollbretters, which originally I didn't want to get, because I thought I couldn't lift the console. So I can actually lift the console. My main problem with lifting the console is that normally I would have a nice grip under here, but as you can see, the wooden sides are in a way that I now cannot grip this frame the way that I normally would, and I don't want to damage the wooden sides. So I think in the long run I will have to get big rolling boards, put the console on there like I have downstairs with the Lavo, then be able to move it safely. And for that I will probably unmount the wooden sides. Okay, I will now move this console out by hand to be able to do some of the works just by lifting it up and moving it. Let's see how the floor under it looks like. I hope it's not too damaged. We'll continue. Okay, so that worked. The console is out. It is not too heavy, but on wheels it would be pushable very nice. And then also if I do the cabling, everything tied nicely, I can just roll it around however I like, which I'm very much looking forward to. Now, this is how it looks like from the back. You can see my LED strips, which I will now also fit more nicely. And yeah, next watch me undo all the cablings so we can redo it all. And I noticed in order to fit this thing right here, I will have to undo the sides as well, because it connects to here. Okay, now the cabling is undone. I cleaned a bit. Let the recabling begin. Okay, so far for the setup. I have this bar installed right here, and we are going to have all the cablings go alongside here, connected with cable ties. That is going to be neat. Also, I have the transformer box here. Now, of course, there will be loads of cabling, and you can see already here the cabling coming out of the converter is just massive. Loads of cabling. And because most of the outputs of the converter will go here first and then to the console, there will be some cabling around here. I probably built some sort of car for it along the way, like a rack on wheels where most of the cabling is contained. So that will be neat as well. Until then, it will just have to do behind the racks. But let me get some cable ties and then we'll get going. Okay, now the left side, let me show you. It looks terrific. I bundled the cables here. I still have to sort some of the cables here. We see how that looks later, but I think you won't be able to see it from the front, so it should be okay. This is really cool. I have all the outputs from the patch bay now tight. I will have the auxes and Qs with the cable that I will do. That's the only thing missing output wise. Now next are the inputs that go together with the input transformer box, but I will need more longer cable ties as the cabling is quite thick. Let's go. And there goes another 50 euros from the Baumarkt. Better rolling aka Rollbretter. New screws for the side because I was missing a few, and cable ties. Somebody's sitting on them. Fine. So let's continue the build. I will put the desk on wheels now. Let's see how it goes. God, yes. Man, that was quite a thing, but I'm loving it. You can move the console now. As you can see, I positioned the wheels right under where the feet are. There's a bit of overlap in the front, but that's how it is. Now, of course, the height of the whole board increased, but for me, this is perfect. No more bent backs when mixing in front of the console. I can reach everything while standing. Super comfortably now. I mean, I am this amount bigger than the normal person. So, wow, this feels great. And of course, have to be careful not to, you know, but that's why this needs to be on wheels as well. And then we can roll around the whole thing. So nice. Okay, let's continue with the cabling, shall we? Let's get this done. This is looking so much more clean. Now, we still have 2 lines coming in and out of the interface for the master section. That will be connected later. What I would do next is go from the input transformer rack in the same fashion to all of the line ins from the console, as I will be used this for mixing. Let's go. Okay, I think I did it. The cabling is done now. Let me show you the results. Now, as you saw, there's still one cable not connecting because for the master I still have to build one cable, which I will fit later, but otherwise looks pretty neat. I'm very happy. Let me put this desk back together, and yeah, then next we do the next steps, doing the trim ports, doing the power supply. Stay tuned for that. Yeah, and that's it for today. Absolutely loving how this looks now. A dream come true for me. I wanted to do this for a long time. This is so neat. So nice. Now I want to build a car for the interfaces and the transformer rack, but the cabling. Wow. Happy about that. Now there's some stuff to be cleaned, some stuff still to be connected, but like I said, we will be working on the console, so yeah. Yeah, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the episode. As always, if you liked the last couple minutes with me, feel free to give me that or buttons in, or like and subscribe. Until next time, have a good one. Ciao.